Hello again.
Howdy.
Hey, well, this is June, middle of June. We're having a great time. Hope you're having a wonderful summer. We are.
Yeah.
Well, I want to share something with you that I got on Pentecost Sunday, which was June 9th this year. And anyhow, well, here's what it was. I was on a supersonic train, and I mean, this thing was moving fast. So here's what the Lord spoke to me about that. He said, this is a train of things forgotten. Old things are made new. It's a day of blessings and not curses. And he said it's a season of rest in him. Now I'm going to go back. It's a train of things forgotten. Well, you know, Bob would always talk about the train, you know, like our mind had two tracks, but our things forgotten, there's a lot of things we need to forget and go on. You know, the enemy's always going to try to bring confusion and things of the past, things we've repented of, and he'll try to, you know, he hasn't forgotten, so he's going to try to remind him, but we need to just put the past behind us. So old things are made new. And I'm saying all things are made new. Okay, so the things of the past, they can't be a hindrance to us anymore. They're made new. These are the days of blessings, not curses. Well, you know, last session you were talking about our testimony, and it really is about our testimony. You know, it's what we've done with the things that the Lord has done through us. Okay, it's never about us, but we share a testimony of what God has done in us and through us and to us and about us. You know, we share that. So it's a day of blessings, not curses. It's a season of resting in God. Well, in Bob's 100-year prophecy, the 2020s began that season of rest, a Sabbath rest in the Lord. So technically, if you're going with the Hebrew calendar, we've already entered that time of rest. Okay, last year in Day of Atonement, we would have already started into that 10-year season or cycle. Okay, so, but the Lord had me start reading in Hebrews and how we enter into God's rest. So I'm going to look at Hebrews 4. And it says, therefore, while the promise of entering his rest still holds and is offered today, okay, let us not be afraid. We need to come into that rest. I'm going to kind of jump around here a little bit. He's talking about the children of Israel. They did not enter the rest of God because they did not mix faith, okay, with their experience. So they did not have the faith of God, and that's something that we have come into. That was the last 10-year cycle, from the 2000 to the 2010 to 2020 was the faith of God, not faith in God, but the faith of God. So, but they didn't enter his rest because of their lack of faith and their disobedience. I'm going to go back here to Psalms 95, verse 7. It says, for he is our God, and we are the people of his pasture and the sheep of his hands. Today, if you will hear his voice, harden not your hearts, as they did when they were in the wilderness. Okay, that's why they didn't enter that time of rest in the Lord. Now, in Hebrews 4:7, it says, again, he sets a definite day, a new day, today. And they have today is capitalized. Today, saying through David, and he's talking about in Psalms 95, after saying through David after so long a time in the words already quoted, today if you would hear his voice, and when you hear it, do not harden your hearts. this mention of the rest was not a reference to the entering into Canaan, for if Joshua had given them rest, God would not have to speak afterward about another day. So then, there is still awaiting a full and complete Sabbath rest reserved for the true people of God. Okay? So, we are coming into that place of resting in God. And it's not, we don't rest from work. You know I've been saying if I get any more rested, I'd be dead. Okay. But you know what I feel the Lord's been doing with me for like maybe the last 3 years is really teaching me how to totally rest in Him, but that rest is trusting Him. You know, it's having no fear, it's having no lack, it's having, I almost feel like I'm dead. I just don't feel like I have anything to worry about it, you know. So we rest in Him, we trust Him, we partner or co-labor with Him in everything. He gives us the grace to do the things that we need to do for Him, but then we rest in Him, we trust Him, and He does the work. We kind of stand back and just allow Him to flow through us to accomplish what He needs done. You know, we are His hands and feet and His voice in the earth today. But we can't take credit for what He's doing. Mm-hmm. He does it through us. We're just the, empty vessel. Yeah. We just make ourselves available. So we're resting in Him. So what I felt the Lord was showing me in this was it's that supersonic train. I mean, it was moving really fast, and I feel that's the body of Christ, the body of believers who come to that place of resting in God. Now, Bob's prophecy was there were 10-year cycles. So I'm saying, I think some are already entered into that place. Some may take a little bit longer, but it's a 10-year cycle, so we've got till 2029. Yeah, so they're going to be at different places, different paces, but it's a time of blessing. If we stay in the past, remember that train was of things forgotten. If we stay in the past, it's going to nullify or delay where we're supposed to go. Yeah. Okay? So we have to get out of the past. Whatever is past is just that. It's past. What I did 2 minutes ago, it's done. Okay? Yeah. Now we live in that eternal realm, and I know you always love to talk about the eternal realm. We live in that eternal realm, and I feel that if we press into God and just stay rested in Him, okay, let Him do the work, He's going to fast forward us, into that. I mean, we live in the eternal realm, but we can begin to function from that. We're seated in heavenly places. We can see things, and we should be doing that already. If you're born again, you're already seated there. You should be looking at things in this life, in this world, from that perspective. Yeah. Otherwise, you're grounded and rooted in the world instead of in the Word. Yeah. So, but this, as you're rested in Him and allow Him to do the work through you, and you just kind of go along for the ride, you're on this supersonic train. The old things are behind, all things are made new. I feel it's a time, I'm going to put this word in here as recovery. Things that have been lost are going to be recovered. Things that have been stolen. I think there's people who have been victims of, what do they call that, identity theft and scams, stuff like that. You see, the enemy has to repay, doesn't he? And 7 times. So I believe those kind of things, those were curses, but I believe those curses, you've put it behind you. and you've forgiven, I think those curses are going to be reversed, and they will become a blessing. Okay? So, the key in this also was, well, there's a couple things. Today, I like that, Hebrews 4:7, today, and it says that also in Psalms 95, today is a day, not yesterday, not tomorrow, today, it's a new day, and not to harden your heart. You know, unfortunately, there are things that are going to come against us that will give us opportunity to harden our heart.
Yeah.
But it's, what do you do at that time? Do you fall prey to the will of the enemy and harden your heart? Or do you obey the Lord? If you walk in obedience to the Lord, say it's resting in the Lord, you're just going to walk in obedience to Him. You're going to automatically obey Him and turn towards, if it's forgiveness, maybe in forgiving somebody, it's going to be to bless them. It might be financially, it may be giving them some, who knows? But you will know, because out of your relationship with the Lord, love is flowing from you, so you're automatically going to walk in obedience and not harden your heart. So I think those are kind of keys, but it's today is the day. And the next time that I share something, I'll be sharing about Jubilee. But that was important to me, that I received that on Pentecost Sunday. It's when the Holy Spirit was poured out, and I thought, it's another Pentecost. We're moving into a time of Jubilee. So that's why next time when I share, I'm going to share about Jubilee. But do you have something you want to add to that?
When you were talking about opportunity, it just reminded me of in the Psalms where it says that He prepares a table for us in the presence of our enemies. And just something that He's been kind of making me see things more hopefully. That there's always something going on. There's you have a window that doesn't work on your car, or there's you got a hole in your shoe, or you got somebody who's accusing you of something, or not enough money in the bank, or one of your children is sick, or there's all kinds of things going on. But our life is like a table, and different things come up around that table, and enemies come up at the table. But the thing is that the Lord is constantly providing things on our table that the enemy doesn't have access to unless we allow him. But I can focus on the enemies around the table and complain about them, how annoying they are, or whatever. Or I can take the opportunity, because hey, there's a couple enemies there. Well, there must be something on my table that He's an opportunity for Him to show Himself, reveal Himself to me, or through me, or whatever. There's something that He wants to do. There's a new problem. Great. The apostles didn't go around whining and complaining about a broken window, or even the threat of death. They took everything as joy to spread the knowledge of Jesus, to hey, He's going to reveal Himself in a new and exciting way through this horrific thing. They threw us in jail. Hooray! Let's sing some songs. And we have a problem with, I have to get up at 6:30 in the morning. That's what a hardship. We have an opportunity to share with the world who Jesus is, and that's
Yeah.
that's amazing in and of itself.
Yeah, when the Lord prepares a table before us, yeah, and He does. He prepares the table for us, but then, okay, it's who we invite to that table.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, you invite your friends, you're born again, you know, your friends, and you're sharing with them, you know, you're having good conversation. But yeah, the enemy doesn't like it. He, you know, you can invite some folks that aren't worthy of partaking, you know. So it's who do we invite? So I think it's also a caution there too, not to cast your bread
Pearls.
before swine.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you know sometimes we do that. That's what the Lord told me. We did a segment on that some time ago about I think the table that was prepared for us. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's really good. So, anyhow, well, I hope this has helped you some. You know, learn to really in this season, and I'm saying this is a 10-year season. Learn to really rest in the Lord. You know, it's just rest in Him. It's trusting Him in all things, and you know, trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. Get your brain out of the way.
Yeah.
You know, that's it. Okay. Be
Amen.
blessed. All right.